It's almost time for the kids to head back to school, which means lots of studying, but being in the right mindset is important in order to study smarter. Joining us with tips is clinical psychologist Dr. Tim Hope. Nice to have you back, Dr. Hope.
Morning.
We're talking all about study tips for students no matter their age.
That's right. That's right.
So from middle school to college, you should listen. Well, also for adults, listen and pay attention because this can help you.
Right.
Your first tip is to choose carefully where you study.
Right. So you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success as opposed to putting temptations and distractions in your way. And so very often that might mean choosing a place that's going to be quiet, distraction-free, where you know you can get to, you know you can put all your supplies, and you know that you're going to be uninterrupted.
And it seems these days it's almost like our distraction is attached to us with our smartphones, so even then we can't get away from it. So maybe, and that leads to our next step, is that you want to bring everything you need, nothing that you don't.
Right. So laptops are a fantastic, powerful tool. A lot of people take their notes on laptops, but if you're connected to the internet, there's all kinds of distractions that you can have while connected to the internet. So if you need your laptop, you can turn off your Wi-Fi for that time period while you're doing your studying. If you need your cell phone, that's fine, but you can also turn it off during that study period.
Yes, so you're not tempted.
That's right.
And then you get sucked in doing something else, and then you can't take back that time when you should have been studying. Outline and rewrite your notes. What are the benefits to doing this?
So taking notes is a way that really helps to solidify that information into your brain. When you go to any kind of lecture, you're hearing the information for a first time. When you translate that into the written word, you're doing several additional steps. You're looking at what you're doing, and you're using your motor skills to actually write out what you're doing. That helps to solidify that in your memory and your learning. And
then you won't have to sit down and try to study hard before an exam, because then you will have hopefully already memorized.
Yeah, the note-taking is a way of making sure that you're touching base on that information on a daily basis as you're leading up to your exam, as opposed to just trying to cram it all in.
Yes, because that's never fun. And I remember those days.
Oh, yeah.
Never fun. Use memory games. What type of games do you suggest?
So the most common ones are mnemonic devices. Every good boy deserves fudge is a way to remember the 5 notes that are on a treble clef. And so you can come up with any kind of mnemonic or other devices like the method of loci, remembering certain concepts by places, like you might place it on a tree that you're very familiar with. The key is using the thing that's most readily accessible to you, and that will help you take on new information and hang it on old information you've already learned really well. That can help you build up your repertoire of knowledge.
It's interesting you say that. I remember using that. I heard that as a tip when I was in school, and making up songs where the first letter of each word represented the answer to whatever it was. So it seems like it's cheating, but in a way it just helps you to remember.
It's just a tool.
And I think a lot of us aren't used to remembering things because we don't have to. We can Google anything. Siri will tell us whatever we need to know. But in school, there are things you need to know because you won't have that
during the exam. You don't have that.
Right, exactly. So make sure you practice the old-fashioned way. Practice by yourself or with friends, and this is actually studying or memorizing things.
Right. So again, this is going to be know yourself. If you know you work better when you're on your own, when you're focused on just yourself and doing that practice by yourself, speaking out loud, practicing the material on your own. If you find distractions in groups, then do practice by yourself. If, on the other hand, you actually find a facilitation effect where you do better in small groups, you have a group of people who are like-minded, who are equally driven, who learn in a similar kind of way, you can bounce ideas off of each other and develop a study group that way. It's really about being effective.
Yes, and it's always, you want to make sure that you're studying with the right people and not the ones that are there just to goof off and have fun. Ones that are just like you and really want to focus.
Right.
And we really need to take advantage of the libraries in our cities and towns too as a great place to study.
They are fantastic. Oh yeah.
And meet up with the people in your class. Now this is only 5 that we've covered so far. We have even more tips with Dr. Hope that's coming up later on in the show. Thanks so much. Looking forward to more advice. We're back with clinical psychologist Dr. Tim Hope. We're sharing ways to improve your study mindset. We left off at number 6, and that's make a schedule and stick to it.
Right. So this is a little bit what we previewed earlier. Distributed practice really is far more effective than amassing your practice into an all-night study session, cramming it in. So what that means is if you know that you can set aside a little bit of time after each class time that you are meeting, then that's going to be far more effective for you. If you can only do it once or even twice a week, that's fine too. As long as you're doing that practice early on, close to the time that you're doing that new learning, it will help consolidate that learning and then make it much easier for you when you come to test time.
And I'm assuming you have a schedule saying when your exams are and when things are due.
Right.
Mark it in your calendar so that it doesn't slip your mind. It's always there, so you have those reminders to always be studying so you're not cramming too.
That's right.
Give yourself rewards and take breaks.
So what this means is taking it into small chunks. Trying to do a 4-hour marathon study session really is not very effective for most people. Most of us can do about 45 minutes to an hour's worth of time before we need to get up and stretch and get the blood moving, and that also allows you to take a little bit of a break, give yourself a reward for that chunk of practice. So that might mean, okay, study for 50 minutes and then take 5 minutes to check out your messages.
And then when you get to do that reward, whatever it is, or maybe it's, okay, then later on tonight I'll be able to go out with my friends, you can have more fun. Because whenever you check back in with, oh, I have to do, no, I did it. And then you're able to enjoy yourself more.
It's off your plate.
It's off your plate. It's a good feeling, absolutely. The next tip is to keep healthy and balanced, and this is just a tip for life in general, but when it comes to studying, the mindset you should go in with is making sure that you remember balance.
Right. Healthy body, healthy brain, healthy mind, and that really allows you to be better at learning. 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise in the morning is equal to a cup of coffee in terms of your cognitive acuity and sharpness in terms of your attention. That's pretty astounding. Right? So if you take care of your body, you feed it good nutrients, you're giving it good exercise, you're well-rounded, touching base with your friends and your family, you're exploring a variety of interests, that makes you a more well-rounded person, makes you more available to be a better learner.
Yes, exactly. It all starts somewhere, and so making sure that you are adding that into your lifestyle is so important to help with your studying. Also, later on in the show, we're going to be talking about herbs that are going to help with focus.
Sure.
So those are all natural and those can help too. Part of a healthy, balanced lifestyle. Know what the expectations are for the class that you're studying for.
So what this means is if you have a syllabus, read the syllabus. You talk with the professor. What are the goals and the expectations about the class? What are the typical grades that people get? There are some of the hard sciences, like organic chem and biology, where the grade is an average of a C, whereas other classes it might be a B. So it would be important to know those kinds of things ahead of time so that you can adjust your expectations, and that will help you feel more successful as a learner.
That's so true. I remember there was a class that I took where no one got A's. The highest you can get was a B. So it's knowing and talking to other students about the class that have taken the class to know what the expectations are. And lastly, the 10th tip is all about perspective.
Yeah, have a healthy, positive attitude towards learning. You are taking in some new information. This will help you in one way or another in your life, either now or down the road. This is an opportunity for you to stretch your mind. So taking that positive mindset toward that learning opportunity makes it feel much more exciting as opposed to a chore.
If you think of it as a daunting task, it's going to be. If you think of it as something exciting, then it will be.
Right.
So it's all about keeping that positive attitude. Well, we're talking about studying. Now everyone knows exactly what they need to do to go in full force and be successful.
Good.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hull.
Oh, you're welcome.
Always have great advice for us. Really appreciate it.